Welcome into the WCS Coaches Show. I'm District Athletic Director Patrick Whitlock, and our game of the week this week is Brentwood at Independence. And I have the two head coaches, Clint Finch of Brentwood and Scott Blade of Independence, with me. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show.
Always glad to be here.
All right, so good. We've got a game with serious playoff implications, as right now the District 6-6A standings has Ravenwood 4-0, Brentwood 4-0, Shelbyville 3-2, and Independence 2-2. So, gentlemen, this game could go a very long way tonight in determining some playoff seeding. Brentwood looking to wrap up a spot officially, even though looking good at 4-0, and Independence trying to move up the pecking order here. So, Coach Finch, we'll start with you. You've won 3 of your last 4. You sit tied 4-0. How are you feeling about your team's progression so far this season as you get ready to close out the regular season?
So I think we feel like we are progressing in the right way. I think, and I've made no bones about it, we knew this was going to be a year where there were lots of questions that had to be answered, and we would like to have those questions answered earlier in the season, but we just weren't in the position to do that. We feel like we're starting to figure some things out. We've talked a lot to our kids about needing to be more consistent. Sometimes we feel like we're a really good football team, and then sometimes we feel like we're average at best. We're starting to see, even though we think Friday was tough, we think we're starting to see a little bit more consistency from a lot of our kids. That's huge at this time of year. You got to be playing your best football as you're going into the playoff push and into the playoffs. But pleased with our kids' work effort. Work incredibly hard in the weight room, really hard on the practice field. Did a lot of work trying to figure out the right pieces and where they needed to be. So we feel like we're trending in the right direction.
So if I could go back to media day and be like, hey, going in the Indy game, you're going to be 4-0 in the region, you probably would have cut that deal right away. Right?
We would have taken that deal all week long.
Can't be better than that at this point. So, Coach Blade, last couple weeks, you've had 2 of the more formidable opponents, definitely in Williamson County, if not the state. Played at Ravenwood, led 7-0 at halftime. Last week, going against Page, had a lead at the half as well. Second half really didn't go kind of the way you wanted. How do you address that with your team as you kind of move forward into 2 critical games to close out the regular season?
Well, to that point, we have 2 really critical games, county rivalry games. I was thinking on the way over here, Clint and I have been in some pretty good Brentwood Independence games in the past. I know it's been a minute now, but some really fun games coming up. Yeah, we got a chance to test ourselves against 2 of the better teams in the state. And for a half of football, we were just fine. But we're not there yet. We're not, to Coach's point, we're trying to develop consistency. We're trying to develop an identity. So that just takes time. And we're looking forward to this opportunity this next tonight. Against a formidable opponent, against an opponent with incredible history and tradition around this game, and just trying to keep moving forward. Hopefully we can learn a little bit from the past couple weeks and keep grinding forward.
So as you guys try and project forward, if you talk about something that maybe like these things have gone well and this is what excites me, because I know the standard for these programs is not to make the playoff, it's to advance into the playoffs. So as you kind of reflect on 8 weeks in, 9 weeks in, what excites you about where your team is at and where you move forward? We'll start with you, Coach Finch.
So I think first of all, and I think Friday night, that win Friday night was our special teams play was central to that. So I think right now we're playing really good football in that third of the game, and the special teams third of the football game. Keenan Fisher had a great night. Friday night, I think every kick was a touchback, 3 for 3 on extra points. At the end of the game, we're trying to close it out. Kicked it, pinned him inside the 5, had a fake punt to pick up a first down. Just a lot of huge positives there on the special team side. I think on the defensive side, as we've continued to move those pieces around, we're starting to do a better job of stopping the run. Okay, that's been something that we've kind of struggled with a lot of times this year, and I think we're starting to kind of figure that out. We've had to take a little bit more of our offensive linemen, play them on defensive line, try to get a little bit bigger body over there, but that seems to have worked better for us the last couple of weeks back to Coffee County and Franklin. And I think on the offensive side of the ball, it's just, we're a spread offense. Sophomore quarterback Gavin Strang, I think, continues to improve right now. And a big thing this week is we'll get Parker Emerson back. He'd been a little banged up, hadn't really played the last 2.5 games. So to have him back out there, he's a pretty good weapon to have on the field, and it just it's another good guy for us to get the ball in his hands. So a lot of positives.
Coach Blade, what kind of excites you about your team as you move forward here?
Well, we've seen that they can compete with the very best in the state. Now, doing it consistently and doing it for 4 quarters, yeah, that takes a different type of discipline, a different type of commitment, and a different type of consistency. So we're not there yet, obviously. But we see signs of the program moving in the right direction. We do need to, it goes back to, we have to be consistent against well-coached, and this is Brentwood. Coach Finch and his staff do a wonderful job over there. This is a well-coached team. We have to play consistently, and that means 4 quarters. Like I said, at times we're playing as good as anybody, and at times not so good. So we need to lessen those valleys, if you will, that we can play at a more consistent level. And that's what championship teams do. That's what great coach teams do. Right now, we're not doing it at a high enough clip, and that's, until we take our last snap, that's kind of the push. We're going to keep pushing for, just better and better each week, better and better, more consistently each play, and then at the end of the day, we'll see where it lands us.
So let's talk about quarterback play a little bit here. Both you guys have quarterbacks that are, not necessarily underclassmen. Well, in your case, definitely Coach Finch, sophomore, and Gavin Strang, and then Matthew Horner, a junior at Independence. So, based on what I've seen the last several weeks, Gavin really seems to be coming along, and he's new, he's a transfer, so kind of learning the offense. Are you happy with where he is at this point in the season?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned earlier, it runs through the quarterback in most offenses these days. I think Scott and I are probably in a very similar situation in that Gavin, as a transfer, had to learn a brand new offense, and Matthew as bringing back Scott's offense, and that can take some time to do. I don't think we're incredibly simple on offense, and I don't think Indy's incredibly simple on offense. And so, regardless of their age, anytime you've got to learn a new offense, and you have to learn it in 6A football against some pretty dadgum good athletes and well-coached football teams, there's going to be a learning curve there. We feel like Gavin really kind of going back, honestly, to the Henry County game. We feel like the game is starting to slow down for him a little bit. We think he's making better decisions. He did throw a pick Friday night, but he'd gone a number of games without any interceptions. We didn't been pretty good on turnovers. But he just, he comes to work every day, very coachable. Understands what he's good at, what he's not good at, wants to get better at the stuff he's not good at. And that's really all you can ask a kid to do, is go out and be a great competitor.
And Coach Blade, on the show previously, we've talked about the progression of Matthew Horner based on since you've been here last time. How do you feel like he's competed? I mean, obviously stepping up in the competition level the last few weeks.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, these are the last couple defenses are real, and Coach will say the same thing. I mean, they are 2 of the better defenses. Both Rathbone's kids at the Page, they play fast. They know what the defense is willing to give up. They know what they're not going to give up. They get to the ball quick, very few mistakes, and really the second half they did a good job of disguising some things. Ravenwood, incredible athletes over there, fast, furious, blitzing from every direction. So you don't necessarily get that same look. So I'm going to agree with what Coach Finch said, that when it's your first time starting, there's a learning curve that goes on each week, and you're still taking things like drinking from a fire hydrant, so to speak, right? And it really takes experience to slow this whole thing down, and sometimes experience is an off season, right? Where now you can relive these plays and study film and meet with your coaches and really let things digest a little bit. But I'm really pleased with Matt and his development throughout the year. We're not necessarily spoon feeding him things. We're shoveling it down, and he's done a great job of trying to adapt and understand and take what the defenses are giving us. And I couldn't be more proud of where he's at right now.
So Williamson County, every game seems to be like a rivalry game. And why you guys won't be like chief rivals. it'll still be an incredible atmosphere tonight. And reflecting on this series, because you guys have been around a while, are there any moments in this particular series that kind of stick out is there an in particular memory? Hopefully we've each got a good one we can throw out there, but you guys would have to answer that. So anything that sticks out about this game?
This has been, an incredible, I know it's not the Ravenwood Brentwood or the Independence Summit rivalry. Sometimes us coaches, we have, we go beyond just those absolute neighborhood ones, and we go, this game has gone down to the wire so many times. And I was looking back, obviously 16 was an incredible game. To start the year was a 1-point game in our favor, and then to end it was a 3-point game in our favor to send to the championship. An incredible environment. It was freezing, burning up hot first game, freezing cold the last game. I was watching at the end zone. There was 5 people deep at their place, five rows. There was 300 plus people packed in the end zone, stands packed. Those day after Thanksgiving, we can go through and. So we came out on top of that one. But we can go through just 18, 19, where, one play in the second round of the playoffs, flips it over back of his head to win it. Last play of the game. The year before, we fumbled on a 2-point conversion for overtime, to win it. So, there's a slew of incredible games and atmospheres. Every time we play, it's an incredible atmosphere. So when we say it's not the premier neighborhood rivalry, I've got different thoughts on that. These are there's a lot of history here, and it's never been short of entertaining and easy on the nerves. Let's put it that way.
Got anything to add to that, Coach Finch?
No, and I think it really makes Williamson County football fun. In that, Franklin, laid their ears back and got after us Friday because that means something to those kids. It's a Williamson County game. Obviously, us in Ravenwood's always going to be a big deal, but there's great history with Independence. There's great history between us and Summit. I can still remember that 16 we were talking about in the office yesterday. We were like, I thought a receiver had just went inside instead of outside. And we certainly remember when Cade Granzow, I didn't even see that play because I'd already put my head down.
Yeah, it was like, right in front of me.
Yeah, and so I remember that. I know in 2022 we had to make a goal line stand in overtime, and we had a penalty, and it felt like they snapped it 32 times in overtime, and we managed to hold on. But yeah, and I've told the kids that, and our kids understand it. Like this means something to us, and understand it means a lot to them as well. And so you take playoff implications, and you take a great history of a lot of really close, well played, well fought ball games, and it'll be a great atmosphere on Friday.
So you mentioned playoff implications. This game could go a very long way, and even though you've essentially got a 2-game lead right now, a week from tonight, about 10 o'clock, it could look vastly different. So do you talk to your team about the playoff implications? Because you win tonight, Brentwood wins tonight, you're going to solidify a home game. You lose tonight, you kind of leave it to chance depending on how things play out. Is that something you talk about to your kids, or they just understand?
No, and I think you have to. I'm a big believer that if you treat your kids like adults and talk to them like adults, they appreciate that. We sat down in our pregame at Coffee County, and we'd come off a really rough loss to Henry County. And we said, look, these next 4 games are huge. And we kind of just laid it out. Like this is what happens if you can find a way to win these games. Each week, this one can get you in the playoffs, and this one can kind of ensure you of a home playoff game. And this one could give you a chance to play for a region championship. Obviously, every game you play is important, but I think the kids know, and I think Scott's kids know too, like there's a lot on the line, not just for this week, but for the future as well. My big deal is I don't want to have to make multiple trips to Memphis. I don't know about you, but the idea of trying to give yourself a home game and a chance to stay relatively close as opposed to the logistical and financial nightmare of making trips to Memphis, that's pretty big motivation for me. My life gets a lot easier just for that. But yeah, we've talked to our kids about it. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. But we said, if you're going to set your goal that you want to home playoff game, have a chance to play for a region championship, then that's got to go through Independence tonight.
Coach Blade, what about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, to Coach's point, the kids are aware. We're not at the same point with them, so we're trying to build something that take what happened in the last couple games and just move forward. I try not to put a ton of pressure on one team, or one emphasis rather on one team. If we don't get better at the mistakes that cost us against Page and Ravenwood, then it doesn't even matter. We have to get better at those type of things to help us, give us a best chance against a terrific Brentwood team. And then we'll adjust, we'll attack Summit then. So for us, I kind of just go, I haven't put a whole lot of pressure or emphasis on playoffs. If we're not going to, like I said, if we're not going to keep growing, none of that really matters, right? But if we can keep growing and keep learning from the stuff, our mistakes in the last couple of weeks, and really on all four of our losses, then that gives us a great chance to have a great game tonight. But I kind of go a little bit different, and just what's right in front of me, what can we control, and see if the football gods smile on us or not.
Yeah, so we talked. You mentioned the 2 trips to Memphis. The format changed this year, where you're going to play, against a different region, and then it's kind of flipped, where you could potentially have to go on the road to Memphis, depending on how things shake out. Do you guys like that, or would you rather it be? I mean, I don't know, because a lot of times you get matched up against a Williamson County opponent in that second round, and we're just eliminating each other as you move forward. So, is this a welcome change?
I'll just piggyback what Clint had said. I mean, the logistical nightmare, the financial implications, and there's a lot of things. It's not just, hey, let's go to Memphis. Oh, that's a pain, and that's tough, and it's costly, and you're not recouping that from the TSSAA gates. So, and just I've been out 3 years. I mean, it was my last year. We couldn't even get buses, and we ended up getting Dixon County and Creekwood's Spirit buses that are half out of commission and everything else, and try and take that 3.5 hours, right? With brutal. So I mean, I have I think those Williamson County games, those are so much fun, and what the environment's going to be, kind of what the personally, I'm not real big fan of driving down to Memphis.
I feel like, I'm not a huge fan of it either. I think, and I'm a member of the Tennessee Football Coaches Association. I think it was like 57% voted for it. Maybe I shouldn't say it. I think I like to think of this as the Oakland-Maryville rule. Like for years, there were guys that just couldn't get past Oakland and Maryville to get to that next round. And I think this gives those guys now a chance to advance. But the geography of the state of Tennessee works against us.
Right.
Okay? Like there's just no 6As. I mean, we're the 2 farthest west 6A teams until you get to Memphis. And so I don't mind the idea of playing new people. Like I think once you get into the playoffs, you're going to get lucky sometimes, and that first round game will be an easy one. But usually once you get to the second round, you're playing a pretty good football team. So it's not really a concern that we got to play somebody good. If we're lucky enough to keep advancing and get to a point where we have a chance to go to Memphis, it's just that, again, it's the cost and the time. And it's probably a huge advantage to not have to get on that bus and go. And even though our kids have made trips before, they're still high school kids, right? And that can be distracting, and then you can be kind of rushed, and you're going into a place, and sometimes it's not great atmospheres, right? It's a lot more fun, I think, in a playoff situation when you play an India Summit, because there will be 4 or 5 deep, especially if you get later into those playoff games where teams have been eliminated. So I personally kind of wish we weren't doing this, but at the same point in time, I know it's beyond my control. So all we can do is go out and try to win ball games. And if that means get on a bus and go to Memphis once, twice, or 3 times, and we'll hop on the bus and go and hope for the best.
And problem you're very welcome to have because it means you keep
Yeah,
winning.
absolutely.
For sure. So, all right, now moving on to the game. What are some problems or some things at the forefront of your mind that your opponent presents for you tonight? Coach Finch, we'll start with you.
So I think as Matthew Horner has continued to improve throwing the football, and I think Scott would tell you too. Scott's known for having a good passing offense, and he marries it well with a run game. But you're going to have to go into that saying, hey, how can we stop this kid who's throwing the ball much, much better, whose receivers we think over the course of the year have grown quite a bit? How do you limit those big plays, right? They have the potential to score from anywhere on the field. He gets the ball out, finds the right guy, and the route's good. So that puts stress on you. I think in high school football, limiting big plays is always huge. So you've got to limit Indy's big plays. I think at the same point in time, you've got to find a way that you sure don't want them to feel comfortable being able to run the ball and pass the ball. You would like to find a way to make them one-dimensional. That's been a big thing that we've talked about this week. Like, let's find something that we can do to take away one of the aspects of the ball game. I think on offense, we've got to sit there and hold on to the football. I'm a big believer. If you can hold on to the football, the other team can't score. Way too many 3-and-outs last Friday night against Franklin. So we want to limit their opportunities. We want to sit there, hold on to the football, keep picking up first downs, and obviously find a way to score points at the end of the drive, be it field goals, touchdowns, whatever. We've got to find a way to get points on the board.
Coach Blade, what about Brentwood?
Yeah, it's funny listening to Clint's answers because I think we have a lot in common in this whole interview.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to get Matthew comfortable on offense, right? And so that does mean him settling into the game. We've talked about the rivalry and the ambiance and everything else, and so getting him settled down, get these kids settled in, doing what taking advantage of what they're going to give us, and so being able to identify that. Knowing that their defense is going to give us some multiple looks, they're going to give us some sky clouds, some 2-3, they're going to give us multiple different fronts. So that means the offensive line's got to be on their toes, right, and be able to pick up the different blitzes and the different angles. And Matt's got to be on his toes as well. Receivers got to be on where their routes connect. So there's a lot of moving parts. But if we can establish some sort of running game and stay in front of the chains, so to speak, to let our kids settle down, that'll be real important on offense. On defense, they do about as well as anybody on their RPOs. And gosh, and again, this is not just one game. Goes back years and years. And I remember, Cade and some of those quarterbacks they'd sit there and they'd hold and they'd wait. They'd test your patience as a linebacker or whoever they're, RPO and make you commit. And as soon as you commit, the windows are so small at times, and they seem to find them all the time. And did a great job against Franklin last week on that. Those are a problem because those things keep your linebackers or your safety, your rolled up safety, they keep you at bay as opposed to committing to a gap. And so we need to do a great job with our front seven and our defensive line and our inside backers of stopping that run, because otherwise, like us, stay in front of the sticks. That's a problem, right? That means they're getting comfortable. Our defense, a good defense, starts to get frustrated and start doing things maybe they're not that's in the game plan. And so, I think it's going to be a great a challenge. Obviously, the turnovers, for the most part, we've been pretty good most of the year on the turnovers. That's going to, for both teams, that's going to be huge, right? Coach had mentioned punting. Yeah, we don't want to have a ton of punt snaps out there, right? We want to stay in front of the chains and keep drives alive and keep the time of possession in our favor. And I think those are basically it. The special teams are going to be huge again. I know they've got incredible kickers, so And, I know we were worried about that in 16. It's a 3-point ball game, but I know the guy could make it from 60 yards for real, right? They did too, and it was like it's like we missed an extra point the last touchdown, and instead of a 4-point game, it's like, oh man, this guy can hit it from 60 yards. They got a terrific kicker, and so those are the things that you got to keep you on the positive side, because you don't want something like that being the difference in the outcome of the game.
Yeah, it seems to be a recurring theme each week. We come in here and we talk to coaches. At least one coach mentions how great the special teams, particularly the kicking game, is for the other team. Williamson County blessed with a lot of talent in that area. And speaking of talent, we're late in the season here. If you could name a couple guys that maybe, they were younger, you didn't know what you're going to get out of them, maybe some guys you didn't know where they fit on the depth chart that have kind of emerged this year. Who are those guys for you, Coach Finch?
Oh, goodness. I think we've been pretty happy with so our center is Cole Chambers. He's a junior who's a JV guy last year. We think Cole's doing a pretty good job right there at center for us because, again, I say it always starts with the quarterback, but I guess it only starts with him if you can get the ball to him, right? And so Cole's done a good job. And we play in a league where you get a lot of 3-4, where there's a guy lined up right on top of you. So he's done a good job. We're really pleased with him. I think probably at receiver, Parker Emerson, who we know is a great athlete, but Parker had to play safety last year. Is playing predominantly receiver this year, some running back, some quarterback from time to time. But he's kind of been everything that we thought he would be. Not that we had a huge question mark, but we just didn't have the opportunity to see if he did it yet. And then I think probably on defense, Baron Langford kind of went from being the other linebacker last year to kind of being the guy on defense. And Baron's done a great job for us playing Mike linebacker. Just a really good kid at understanding of the run fits and just a good leader, vocal kind of kid that understands how to get people lined up and do the job he's supposed to do.
I'd say, Colby Barone, he's our middle linebacker. He's a junior, very active. Also took on our long snapping role. We didn't have a long snapper to start the year, and we taught him, and man, he does a terrific job there. But he's really the alpha of the defense, and we're excited to watch him develop and excited to get him back for a year. But that guy averages double-digit tackles. He's very active, very athletic, as well as a valuable role on all of our special teams. And then Brody Bullock, our safety, really didn't play a whole lot. He's a junior, didn't play a whole lot last year, was a backup quarterback, and we like him at safety, and he's also playing more and more receiver. We like him as we try and build for the now, but also for the future. But those couple guys have really, Jonathan Bell, we got an offensive line. He's a senior, but he made a position change. Really is kind of a utility guy for us, but has started every game at offensive line, also plays some defensive end. Really happy with those kids, and they're selfless. A lot of kids these days, they get, I'm only this or I'm only that. And so I like the guys that I'm whatever helps the team and whatever makes us better. And really those three would be probably three guys that we didn't know a ton about coming into this year that have really stepped up and done some good stuff.
Well, gentlemen, we appreciate you being here today. I know in your quest to improve your playoff spot, it's obviously a big game tonight. Just thanks for coming in and talking to us today.
Always so happy to come here and get to talk about our kids.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so that'll wrap it up. We got the WCS game of the week, Brentwood at Independence. Game day will be in the house. Huge playoff implications on the line tonight. 7 o'clock kickoff. Get there early, and we will see you next week.